Welcome to From a Certain Point of View, the only Star Wars podcast to plan a Season 2 second half review and then squeeze in as many episodes as possible just before recording. I'm Jason the Angry Ginger, also known as the Ginger Jedi Guy on this show, broadcasting live from inside Wookiee Studios. I'm not alone, so please allow me to introduce your favorite wretched scum, scoundrels, and smugglers before we get into all the content. First up, Neighbor Cole from Corellia.
I would like to excuse myself from that opening line because my movies or my shows were all prepped up like 2 weeks ago.
I know, you're such a go-getter.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am a
What's it like to be young and still like have a memory of, like an elephant? Like, oh yeah, I watched these 2 weeks ago. I remember everything.
I'm a completionist. My memory is not what it used to be. I go into rooms all the time. Like literally, I forget things 12 seconds after I was ready to go do them.
Yeah.
So I feel like my mind's been wiped at one point.
About 7 or 8 years ago, I started using fucking Post-its for everything. Like if the second I'm like, oh, I need to do that in about 10 minutes, write it down, stick it somewhere. And then, you leave the room, you never do it. You come back, you're like, oh, fuck yes, I got to do that.
I've got lists. I've got Post-its. I've got my phone. I do all sorts of stuff like that. I've got my Google Doc dedicated to like my gym workouts because I forget about them all the time. So it's just like, it's a
Right now, all the young listeners are like, oh yeah, these guys are old. Wow.
Yeah, I'm the youngest on the show at 38.
Call us master, listeners.
No Padawans here. Thank you for having me down here in Wookiee Studios.
Thank you for coming down.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for not forgetting.
A gracious host. I did remember how to get down here. It's a long walk, but I figured it out. We are not alone here in the studio. Well, we are alone here in the studio, but we're not alone in.
He's just like lives in the monitor. Like every time I turn on, he's there.
In spirit is what I was trying to stutter out with a sentence fragment or two.
We're gonna warm up here.
Yeah, we're warming up. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. I don't know. This is possibly the worst introduction I've ever done. Welcome to the show, Matthew, Darth Matthews. How you doing?
I'm good. I actually don't leave this room. This is just, I'm in here all the time. So just ready for you guys to record whenever you're ready. Your intro speaks to me, Jay, because I was up really stupid late, or maybe you would call it early.
Yeah.
Finishing up season 2 of Rebels, and I kick myself every time for it because, like, 1, I know it's coming, and 2, I really enjoy the show, so I should probably take more time watching it instead of just blasting through it, So it's a little disappointing.
How many episodes did you watch today?
Well, last night and today, I think I watched
12.
like 8 or 9 last night.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
And it's tough. It's tough to get through. I had a hockey game late too, so that fucked me up. It was not a good thing.
Well, you're here. You look well enough rested.
Thank you.
To talk about the show. Yeah.
Seeing you drinking water, I figured you'd be slugging coffee. But
Well, I'm more of a Diet Coke guy, so I got a Diet Coke and I got a water. I got both here.
it's just hardly
Ready
any
to go.
caffeine. Hardly any caffeine in Diet Coke. Barely keep you awake.
Well, it's enough. It's enough to give me a little push.
A force push.
Maybe. So many force pushes going on. So if anybody would like to find our show, because they're already here and listening to it, so they probably have, but we are at FromACertainPointOfSkew.com, and you can interact with us on Twitter at FACPAPod, and please email the show, FACPAPod@gmail.com, and go out and rate and review the show. We'd really appreciate it. We haven't had a review in a bit, so that'd be great. We are also part of the Podawan Podcast Network. No drop yet, so it's coming. Somebody's working on one. That is at Podawans on Twitter.
Also, if you're interested in listening to, a non-edited version of this show, you want to hear a full From a Certain Point of Skew shit show, pay attention to us next week, the 22nd. I believe we're doing the Star Wars Hour on the 22nd. We'll be live. Just pay attention to our Twitter feed, and you'll get the times of when the hour is going to be.
Speaking of remembering everything, was that supposed to be me who did that drop? It's not me, is it? For the
No.
Okay.
There was a joke about it, but
we joked about it, but there's somebody in the network's working on one, so we'll have something soon.
I do have drops that I have yet to do. Believe it or not.
Is it on that list that we're talking about?
Yeah, it's on the list. It's a Google Doc that's probably 15 down.
Oh.
Yeah, in addition to that, the live show that we're going to do for Podtoberfest, and I'll put all that information out there. We will take that and put it into our next episode.
Sure,
so that'll be our next episode, is the recording of that.
Look for it. Okay, on the show today, we're going to skip the question of the week because we got a whole half of a season to cover here, so we're going to get into that. But before that, we've got some news. We got some news on The Mandalorian Season 3. Is it filming? And also maybe more of the Ninth Jedi. Star Wars Rebels Season 2 is our big bulk we just talked about. We're going to go into the Maul Bag. We've got a voicemail from the legendary Royal Farm Boy, so prepare yourselves for that because we haven't heard it yet. Matt kind of screened it. So there will be a pause and some comments, I think, like we did last time. So I know that we got a lot of feedback on I guess the way we respond to voicemail. So if you enjoyed that last time, we've got more coming up.
Perhaps there'll be some trials and tribulations on the Nexus again. Some gators getting loose.
We like to have fun with that. I think it's appreciated. I think he liked our commentary last time.
It's lighthearted. It's fun. We like our listeners. We'd like to poke a little bit of fun at them. So I mean, they've listened to this show and they listen to how we talk to each other. So at least they feel at home, I hope.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're a bit of the sensitive, you don't like to be made fun of, I doubt that this is the show for you.
Right. There's other Star Wars podcasts you can go listen to. Not on our network.
There's other ones? There's other Star Wars shows out there?
I was not aware that there were any until we started this one.
Less savage ones with way more creative clip art.
You know what? Real quick before we go into like the news here, I will say like there's there doesn't seem to be like I've been podcasting for a long time and the community
13 years.
Yeah.
By the way, happy anniversary.
Thank you. And the community's always been awesome. Like everyone gets along, they support each other, but it doesn't seem like the Star Wars podcasts communicate very well with each other from what I've seen.
It depends a little. Obviously, we're all covering a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there becomes a little bit of a rivalry there, but of course not with the
turf
Podawans.
wars.
We're all the Podawans are supporting each other.
That's right.
But yes, you are right. I think that there are some shows that kind of don't interact with each other or kind of just I don't know what that's about.
I've had tweets go unanswered like you don't know anything because I never said I know more than 60%.
Well, in general, the those that I interact with on Twitter are great. They reach out to the show, engage with us, all that kind of stuff. So they've been great. But yeah, you're right. There's just so many of them. Of course, you're going to get some.
What he's saying is it's me.
And not so nice words.
They all respond to me. I'm over here. Oh, they're assholes. What's going on?
It's all those hyperspace lanes that the blockades.
I'm going to pull them right out of there, little fuckers. I'm going dark side.
A gravity. What do they call that?
I do. I do have visions. Like, every once in a while, I'm thinking, we should be like the heel, like the Star Wars podcast. It just like goes after, but we don't know enough, so of course they're just gonna come back to us and say, "You guys are idiots."
It's all about
a disaster.
It's all about confidence.
Right,
you don't have to know. You don't have to be correct
true.
to be the
That's
bad
true.
guy. Just go after it.
Just like once a year, we'll like fun trips where we just show up to Star Wars podcasters' houses, like Jay and Silent Bob, and just pull them out of their house and beat their ass.
I feel like I should champion this cause.
Oh yeah.
Put it on the list.
Put her.
Are you
on
gonna do the
list.
drops first or this? Which is gonna come first?
Depends on my free time and my schedule. This fucking cat is about to get loth-catted across the fucking.
It loves you. All right, let's get into the news.
Yes. So just a couple items here. One, Beef Cargo himself tweeted out the other day, I think it was 2 days ago, that he is starting filming on the show this week. He said, quote, Mandalorian Season 3 begins for yours truly tomorrow. Grief Cargo will be back on Disney+. So we still don't really have a grasp on what exactly Season 3 is going to be made up of. I think we still obviously figured that there's going to be some of the Mandalore storyline with the Darksaber and all that. That's got to be a big part of the story, you would think.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what else is going to be included so far. From
We're kind of in the dark with everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's the way they ended the second season was kind of a wrap up, right? So
oh yeah, you could have ended
where
the
are we
show.
gonna go? Yeah, right, yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, they could have just picked up telling more stories and alluded to other things, the loose plot threads. But yeah, so we're in the dark, and I'm excited. I mean, we got a year. There'll probably be some teases in the Book of Boba Fett, which we'll be getting to in a couple of months. So
yeah, I'd imagine we're going to see some of those characters in the Book of Boba. So that'll be cool as a tide over. But also there was a rumor that came out, I think it was the week before, that Kevin McKidd was spotted on the set of Mando Season 3, and he is the voice actor who portrays Fen Rao, who we're about to talk about in a minute because he's coming up on an episode of Rebels.
Yep.
He is the leader of the Protectors of Concord Dawn, so that could be interesting.
Another sect of Mandalorians, right?
Yeah, a lot of sex.
I saw a lot of noise over this Kevin McKidd thing on the set, and I guess because they're all shooting like Grey's Anatomy shoots like in the same studio area or something, so they're saying, "Oh, that's what it is." And then some of the people that I follow that actually kind of are in the know, they called bullshit on it. So I don't know. It's a rumor. It'll be fun if it's true.
Grey's Anatomy is still on?
I guess so. It's like 21 and 22. They just like renewed it for 2 more years, I think.
My daughter like cannot get enough of it. She's got shirts. It's a good day to, what is it? It's a good day to save a life. It's a good day for saving lives or some shit.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to say good day to die. I was going the wrong way.
I think she would be very appropriate to wear that to school.
I just feel like they've run their course, that show. They've like covered every possible situation, and I don't know.
Well, maybe you should watch it. Let's do a podcast.
Okay. Grey's Anatomy podcast? Let's work on that. I'm going to work on that artwork for that. I'll get that going.
Well, you guys should take a playbook out of Ty's playbook.
Wayfinder?
Yeah, Ty. Yeah, you should do every 5 minutes of the episode.
Podcast.
There you go. Every 5 minutes.
Just discuss up till a commercial break.
Yep, there you go.
There we go.
What's the movie or the show where they do minute by minute?
Is it Friends?
Is it that?
Or no?
I can't remember. I don't think it's a show. I think it's a movie. They
Okay.
maybe it's Star Wars stuff, or they go minute by minute or something like that.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's very getting in the weeds for show. The other bit of news was just something I saw this week, which was that the creator of the Ninth Jedi episode of Star Wars Visions, which I think we all kind of enjoyed, that was one of the better ones, said that he envisions that it was a pilot for something larger, potentially. He says he hopes to flesh it out into a full story. So potentially could be seeing that as some sort of series in the future, which it had a good, laid good groundwork. It would be interesting. Oh God, nobody can see that. But I saw that cat playing around that Star Wars plate earlier, and I thought he was going to knock that shit off.
Fucking Qui-Gon just called out to me. See that? I just like caught it.
You didn't even, you barely even looked and caught that thing.
This cat is like fucking ferocious. He won't stop headbutting my hand to try to get over my computer.
To new listeners who've not been around a while, I live in a zoo. Just be honest. So if you ever hear us talking about animals or you hear like, who are they talking to? It's not a kid. It's usually just, go away.
It could be a kid though too, because you get 5 of those as
usually,
well.
I do?
I think so. Last time I checked. You're like the Ezra of Grand Rapids, Michigan. You commune with animals. That's where your force powers lies, with like feral cats, children, dogs.
I like it.
St. Francis of Assisi. Visions, I'm very, very excited about that. If they do the Ninth Jedi spinoff, I loved that. I think I liked it even more than you guys did. I'm wondering if it'll be canon or no. I'm assuming no. Because none of those series were original. None of that Vision stuff was canon. It was just, hey.
Yeah, I mean, that one was, I don't know. That one wasn't like turning anything on its head or anything like that. Like it was its own kind of standalone story. So I think it'd be real easy for them to just go ahead and say it's canon. I don't know. That becomes that whole weird discussion about canon, what's not, what is. But I would think that they could make that work somehow. But we'll see. I mean, he just threw it out there. I don't know that there's necessarily a plan. Well, and because of the success, it was well received by most people. I could see them taking that and growing it out. I mean, it's like they made that Ronin book,
Yep.
so
I was just gonna bring
there is
that up.
content that's coming from that and growing. So I could see that happening. I'd like that story. There's a couple of stories I don't need to see, but that one would be good.
You don't want to see the Jizz Whalers make another performance?
There's an episode, one of the last couple episodes where they're setting up the new base in season 2 here, and they're playing some rock music.
Yes.
And immediately I was like, I wonder if that's the band from Tatooine.
Yeah, Zeb was rocking some guitar rock.
Yeah, like I had some heavy metal. I'm like, oh, so this shit exists in Star Wars. It might be the first time we've ever, other than that, Visions, where you hear some music that's not, John Williams-esque.
Yeah, that or being performed live in a bar or something like that.
Yeah. Very different from the galaxy far, far away that we've heard so far.
It's a hell of a radio, though, because that had to get some good range to be picking up that shit. I mean, that thing looked like a little transistor radio you'd see back in some 80s movie or something.
They're on a planet with nothing, but he's getting a radio signal.
Yeah, he got it.
Must be Sirius radio, satellite.
Or it could be AM. Everything, that goes far.
Good signal.
So we pick up season 2, the halfway point of season 2 of Star Wars Rebels, with Ezra still hurting from the knowledge that his broadcast led to his parents' demise.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just not nice.
He killed his mother-in-law. Way to go, murderer. I just need Shooter McGavin to walk in and say that to him once. Good job, murderer.
You killed a legend. But they have a new mission. Bail Organa is sending 3 cruisers, Hammerhead corvettes, no less.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's not a cooler name for a fucking cruiser than a Hammerhead Corvette.
Right.
Like, I remember when that guy called it out in Rogue One. Send in the Hammerhead corvette. And I was like, what? What is that? That's cool.
Does that got leather seats? Moonroof? What else you got in there?
Corinthian leather.
8-track tape. So they're sending them to Lothal for the rebels to take. And the mission is led by none other than Princess motherfucking Leia.
Yeah, she in the house.
Hair buns and all.
Well, not really, but...
Oh. That's how I choose to see her.
When she stepped into the light, Cole, did you know it right away, or was it not till she said her name out loud?
Thought it was Luke. Okay, they're twins.
They look just alike.
Yeah. Thanks for being such an asshole, Matt.
You bet.
Lieutenant List is the guy who's in charge of Lothal, right? Lyste, List. I think it's List. Yeah. And there's this whole dynamic. Governor Ryder who's still there hanging out, but he's done fighting and he won't go back to prison. So he's kind of leaving the rebels.
Oh yeah, this is the guy that was in Ezra's visions.
Yep.
Yeah, you know why he won't go back?
He doesn't want to go back to prison. He doesn't want to do more
Right.
time.
You know why? There was an incident with a gang of Rhodians in the shower. He doesn't want to talk about it.
I wouldn't either.
Straight out of American History X, they fucking
Right,
pinned him
it's
down,
that
put a
scene.
towel
Oh,
around
that's
his
a
neck.
vicious scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just went from PG-13 to X-rated.
You will
real quick.
accept my love.
So they run into this problem. I think the commander or Lieutenant List, call him Double L for short. Double L is on to a little scheme. He's kind of suspicious of Leia and Bail Organa.
Yeah.
He's like, you got a history of your cruisers being hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a little, parking services boot here to put on this
really
motherfucker,
is.
a little gravity lock. He puts it on. You guys haven't been paying your tickets on time, and the old Imperial government is here to collect.
Take one now. So yeah, he literally puts like a fucking giant boot on 3 spaceships, and she's like, "Oh, how are we gonna handle this?"
Yeah. And a bunch of extra troopers and some AT-ATs. They bring in all the security measures that they were not expecting, the rebels.
So they kind of come up with a plan to basically take her hostage. So it looks like she's not involved with the stealing of the ship, and then they're going to go basically do a siege on everything, unrelease the gravity things, and they get away with one of the ships, right? Or did they give her
No, they get all of them
all
in
of
the
them?
end.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
later in one of the next episodes, you see one of them. They show you.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
she comes in with the fucking rule in the fist. She's like, all right, well, so I guess looks like I'm going to commandeer your shuttle, right? She takes
Right.
Lieutenant List's shuttle. He's like, my shuttle?
Mhm.
So she's got that. They end up kind of doing this thing where they take her prisoner. They end up snatching up Ryder, who ends up getting taken prisoner as well.
Yeah, they're going to execute Ryder.
Yeah, they're going to kill his ass.
Yeah. So.
Put down that insurrection. No more fomenting on Lothal.
I'm having a hard time remembering where do they go when she takes the shuttle and they go off somewhere because they leave planet, right?
They go to his encampment. They go to Ryder Azadi's encampment, and because they don't know that the troopers are already there arresting him and going to execute him.
Yep.
So then they come in and land, and Hera and crew come in and start blasting ass, and then they come out, and that's when they kind of are trying to do this like fake prisoner capture where
Right.
Leia gets taken by because Kanan and Ezra are in that, or they're doing that trooper cadet little bullshit costume play.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so they end up getting him, springing him free, and then miraculously he knows how to disable the gravity locks on these Corvettes. So he's going to
that's
join.
because when he wasn't getting cornholed by the Rhodians, he was learning all about the gravity locks and how to work on them.
That was his job, right? Wasn't he making them or something in prison?
Yeah, not license plates.
Yeah.
He went into jail. He went into prison as a petty thief. He came out a criminal. So he learned a lot of
He
stuff.
got some education.
He got some education on the inside. He's a little institutionalized still, I think.
Well, and I like it too because when they get out of there with Leia, Kanan is talking to her, and she's like, what's wrong with that guy? What's wrong with Ezra? And he's like, why don't you go talk to him? Maybe you could use a friend or a girlfriend. They're the same age.
They're the same age as the.
Sabine and Ezra?
No, Ezra and Leia, same age.
Ah, yes.
So
As you can see, I'm having a hard time filling the holes in this episode.
that's all right. We'll fill your holes.
I do remember them having a conversation.
Me and Matt are both Rhodians in our time off.
Oh, okay.
We moonlight as Rhodians.
Yep. Cosplay. So yeah,
They're
she
gonna have
kind
to
of
pay for the after hours special.
Oh well. No, real quickly, when she goes and talks to him and the Leia theme plays, that like hit me right in the throat. I was like, "Whoo, god damn that John Williams, he gets me on that."
Yep.
On all that music.
Yeah, she kind of does the "I'm gonna be the shoulder for you to cry on." Keep your head up, little fella.
Right.
That type of a thing. So,
Yeah.
So they end up coming back, and apparently it's been so easy to take down AT-ATs since the beginning. All you need to do is lightsaber their fucking legs. Like, how come? How come we only see, like, throw the lightsaber, like, do the helicopter thing with it. You see the Inquisitors doing it all the time. They just, like, go right through, like, it's like butter. They go through the fucking the Imperial steel like butter, and it's fucking like they just takes them down, and then they're down, and fucking that's it. That's that. 2 AT-ATs.
Yeah, so had Luke known that in Empire, he wouldn't have had to do the whole cable up and throw the bombs in and all that bullshit. He would have just sliced their legs off.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think
you live and learn.
It's a sign of the times, bad CGI back then.
Yeah, right. Well then, yeah. So and Hera is just torpedoing these things too. I mean, that's the other thing is they're doing a lot more damage on these AT-ATs in this series than you see in other stuff that we've seen before. But I like the fact that when she comes in and starts blasting, at one point Ezra knocks out Lieutenant List, and then he full on teabags a trooper. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He like jumps up. I was like, whoa, is that necessary?
Yep.
What are you doing, man?
He had a little bit of the spotchkin.
Let me feed you.
Take it.
Yeah. So, yeah, he has to end up kind of stunning the princess, to make it look good as during their escape. So he hits her with the stun blast. She goes down, and at the end of the episode, I have it down here that Ryder's heading back to Lothal. He's going to lead the resistance. He's a changed man.
Yes.
He's got over his
the ex-governor.
Yeah.
Now
he's gotten over his fears of the outside. Right. It's not a big old world.
He's going to be a leader to the people again.
He's no longer institutionalized.
No. So we move on to the Protector of Concord Dawn. They need a new hyperspace route, and Sabine suggests that they ask Concord Dawn to use their system. Those are the group of Mandalorians, as we referenced earlier with Fenn Rau.
Yep.
So Sabine and Hera go in there, and they get kind of intercepted by him and his crew, and they're like, hey, yeah, no, we're rebels. And he's like, oh, you're rebels? Oh, cool, we're with the Empire. Boom, 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 like just drops back and starts blasting him. I forgot, by the way, how cool these ships are, like the rotating wings around the cockpit.
Yeah,
right.
Fucking badass. We actually see one of these in if you want to say we saw it in live action in The Mandalorian when they go to meet Bo-Katan at that bar. One of those ships is parked outside, so you see one of those ships, which is cool. But then also I didn't know, because they shoot up Hera, I didn't know you could make the jump that fucking shot up. Like, she made the jump to hyperspace all fucked up.
Yeah, she limps out. She drops out of hyperspace, and her ship's barely fucking together, and she's knocked out in the cockpit, isn't she?
Yeah.
Was she in the Ghost or the Phantom? She was in the Phantom, right?
Yeah, because you see her kind of pull in, and she's like, isn't it Kanan that's looking at her and sees her all fucked up?
Sabine sees her.
Oh, Sabine
she's
does?
like,
Okay.
Kanan, it's bad. I think she's in another type of, like, not an A-wing or maybe an A-wing, something like that. She's not in the Ghost or the Phantom.
It was Phoenix Squadron was out there.
Yes.
They sent Phoenix Squadron out there to talk to. They're very approachable too. You just, you go in on their turf, and it's like a Bloods versus Crips thing.
Yeah. So much for diplomacy.
So yeah, like Fenn Rau, it comes out in this episode. He was a fighter pilot instructor for the Imperial Academy as well.
Right.
So that's a little bit of his backstory. No wonder because you don't see Hera get put down very often,
right? Unless
it's Vader or apparently Fenn Rau. She's usually the top dog.
Certainly not by Kanan. Jesus, man.
He can't fly for shit. Flying is for droids.
No, I just mean putting her down.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't realize you were going full perverted.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
It never leaves me.
Hey, they hug this year. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that, because oh boy, was I fucking on fire about that.
He's gonna do something weird with her Twi'lek ears or whatever. He's gonna just fucking like.
There's got to be fan art
deep
out
throw
there.
him or something. Tentacle porn, those things. Something. He's gonna get penetrated by that thing somewhere. You opened the doors. Now you got it. You wanted the fucking thunder. You called it down. Here I am.
Well, and I mean, Kanan. Well, so Hera's messed up, and Sabine's like all hot for revenge. Kanan references what you're talking about with Fenn Rau and how he was in the Clone Wars, or maybe it was Rex who was saying it, but Kanan is like, he saved my life. He saved me and Depa Billaba.
Yeah.
But then Kanan wants to go solo to Concord Dawn to basically continue Hera's mission, and he says, "quote We're already one man down." Boy, that's all. That's what you're gonna say about your girl,
right?
Yeah.
We're one man down.
Yep.
I mean,
they confuse me. I don't know if it's his girl or not. I feel like
What is going on? Do you have something up on your computer?
There's a trailer playing.
You are here now.
It's right there in your. No, that's not. Holy fuck! I thought you're lucky that wasn't a porno.
It was a
bud.
goddamn explosion.
Like fucking hilarious if that was a porn.
That would be funny because I don't watch porn on any computer, let alone my podcast computer. Did I ever tell you that story?
Just magazines.
Phone.
Yeah,
He's a phone guy.
I collect the old ones.
Old school.
I keep my tablet.
That's why I go garage sailing.
I gotta fucking.
Hold on, I gotta pull you back up.
Yeah. Do you have the special section in the back?
I'm
at
looking
your
for the
garage sale?
1978 cover of Vanna White. Wasn't she in Playboy?
I think she was. Oh man, that was funny. That was scary.
Dude, I fucking looked at you and I was like, because it went boom.
I was panicking. I was literally panicking. So, like there's something
Were you
dirty
like,
playing on my
we're
phone.
all like, oh, where's the nasty stuff coming from? That's where everyone went, wasn't it?
You heard the deep breathing, and I looked at Matt, and I was like, "What the fuck is going? You playing a drop?"
No. Oh, fuck.
I think you should definitely keep that in.
Oh yeah, that'll stay.
I thought it was like he was playing like porn parody. Like all of a sudden we're gonna hear Kanan and
Going after it.
yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so where were we?
So Kanan's going to
in.
like Concord Dawn, and he wants to go alone. He takes Chopper, but Sabine, of course, stows away, and she's pissed. He wants to negotiate, but he's saying basically like we got to give peace a chance and maybe recruit him to the rebellion. But while they're scouting the camp, the Empire flies in to pay off Fen Rao, and Kanan sneaks into Rao's tent, and basically Rao knows he's there.
I like how he's
"Oh."
just eating soup.
Yeah,
Like, I
and then
knew
gives
you
him some. It's like, here, have some soup.
Yep.
Or maybe that was a power move by Kanan. I'm going to take some of your fucking soup. How about that? Because we never eat on this show.
So while he's over there having a little palaver with fucking Fen Rao, Sabine's out there just putting fucking.
You almost said Ken Rao, didn't you? Ken Rao. That's his name now.
That's his brother.
Ken Chow. Sabine's out there just putting fucking detonators all over their fucking cool ass Mandalorian spaceships. And then I think she kind of gets caught on purpose, right? Did you guys get that vibe?
Well,
Yeah,
don't
she
you
wanted
like
to
how
fight.
she bangs her head and the guards do that? What was that? And go over and look, and then immediately are like, no, it was nothing. It was like such a video game guard moment. Like literally wait 2 seconds and they'll forget that that they heard some commotion.
We're NPCs. Walk over there.
Back to it.
So she gets up, stands on one of the wings of the fucking Death Watch fighters, and she's like, what is she? She's from Clan Ren, House Vizsla, which is Death Watch, right?
Right.
And she's like, I'm gonna invoke the.
Is this the first time she's like
combat.
said what family she's from?
First time
think so.
I noted it. I think it's the first
Yeah.
time she kind of
I
gave
think
her
so.
gave her full house. So then you get to see a little bit of the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, where they invoke the single combat rule
Right.
over the Darksaber.
Yep.
But no Darksaber involved this time.
Yep.
She's apparently wants to take on old Ken Rao.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a moment where Ken throws it out and says, okay, pick your combatant, and is like kind of trying to play it off? She's like, you. And he's like, fuck.
The old reverse psychology didn't
Why
work.
do they always pick me?
So then she shoots his gun out of his hand.
Yeah, shoots the gun out of his hand, blows up the ships in the
Because
process.
Kanan's like peace the whole time. You can't do this. She's like, just trust me. And then she shoots
You need
the
to
gun.
stop talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets to his ship and he takes off, and then you got Kanan hanging on the outside of Rao's ship, right?
Did you see the look on his face? He had this look like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Like when he's hanging out the back, like, oh no.
Sabine, I need you.
Help.
Yeah. So he kind of gets the drop on him. Like Ken's not really able to get rid of him. So he like climbs onto the front of the cockpit, right? And then they have that moment where they lock eyes, and he's like, "I'm about to penetrate your controls." Like,
Yeah, he does.
right down there. He's like, "No!"
And fucking just rips him right out of the cockpit.
Yeah.
Over the shoulder, just fucking. Then he jumps onto the Ghost or the Phantom, whatever the hell it is.
We're taking prisoners now?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
No, so they go back to they go back to the fleet,
Yeah.
and I think Hera's there too.
Well,
that point.
Hera's still in the hospital
she's in
bed,
the
right?
coma.
Yeah.
Still in a coma.
Yeah, I think she's come to by the end of the
And
episode.
do you notice, like, everybody at the hospital bed except for Kanan keeps his distance? Like, he stands, like, 7 feet from the foot of the bed. And
COVID.
everyone else is, like, sad and crying over her and everything. And I'm like, do you fucking love her or not? What is wrong with this dude?
I don't know. It's almost like he's trying to conceal the relationship when everybody knows what's up.
And that's what I wanted to
bizarre.
get to, because Jedis aren't supposed to show love, right? They're supposed to have love, relationships.
But he never became a knight. And the Jedi Order is a fucking mess. So, like, who cares? You know what I mean? I see what you're saying.
He's trying to keep the code as good as it can, you know?
I wonder if
guess so.
Ahsoka, once she threw off the Jedi Order, she kind of took her habit off.
Oh, she's like the fucking Captain Kirk of Star Wars. She's just laying every alien she finds.
Out there just fucking giving interspecies erotica.
Oh, yeah. And then Rao's like, okay, fine. You guys can have the hyperspace lane. We're good. Like, he just kind of agrees to it.
Right. Now that he's a prisoner.
Yeah. Tentative agreement. He's like, you guys can come through now. They're only friends because they have to be type of a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's kind of where the end of that episode, and it wraps up.
And then on a very special mystical episode of Star Wars Rebels,
Right?
the Ghost Crew is on a mission to rescue some refugees. But by the time they get there and open up the shipping container, the Empire's there. And we find a bunch, or not a bunch, but a couple of Lasats.
Hands down the worst episode of this season
Yeah.
at all.
It was a tough episode. There's another one that maybe is up there, but yeah, it was tough. But Hondo, that motherfucker, just talk about the biggest opportunist in the world. He told the Empire about the Lasats, knowing that the rebels would save them anyway, so he still gets paid.
Yeah.
So he's such a bastard.
But I like how he's like, he keeps giving Ezra the heads up. Like they're in the shootout in the hallway. But like their heads up is like as they're getting shot at. They're coming your way.
Yeah,
Okay.
he sells them out and then immediately is like, hey, by the way, there's some stormtroopers coming. You might want to watch out. What? Bam, getting shot. Yeah, he's just a dirty dog. But we also find out that Zeb was the captain of the High Honor Guard, which was
Right.
unbeknownst to everyone else. He's been kind of feeling a lot of shame about it, so he didn't exactly advertise it. So it's Chava the Wise and Gron,
Yep.
who are the two people we meet.
He served under Zeb in the High Honor Guard.
Yeah.
That's what you find out. But
Right.
apparently he's a bit of a pacifist, a conscientious objector at this point in
Yeah.
time.
He
no
changed
longer
his
fights.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zeb's like,
Which-
you're a fucking warrior, man. Like, let's go.
It's in your blood, bro. You can't just give
Yeah.
that shit up. And they're heading to Lyra San, which
He
is
feels
a
he
new
left
world.
his people down though, right? He thinks he's the last of his kind. You know, he
Yes.
didn't win the war. Like everyone died but him. You know, he's got a lot of guilt.
A lot of guilt.
He's like Jerry
Yeah.
Seinfeld. I choose not to run. You know, I had to put one in.
I know.
It's always in there somewhere.
Sorry. Can't help myself.
Yeah, but like you said, they're looking for Lyra San to kind of begin anew their culture.
Yes.
And it's funny because Shav and Gron are real like philosophical about the fact that like what happened in the Lasat disaster was, it's like part of their destiny. It was part of what was meant to be. And Zeb's like, fuck that. That
Well, you
was not
also-
part of our destiny.
Yeah, you also get some backstory on Zeb and why he's the way he is. What I have written down is he fought to the end. He was fighting off the Empire.
Yeah.
And then he was holding the Lasat Palace, and then a bomb blew up, and he woke up, and that's when Kanan found him, and he joined the rebel crew, right?
Okay.
So he's that's kind of a cool little. I'd like to see that episode of when
Right.
that happened. Young Zeb out there just fucking with his bow staff. What is it? Bow rifle.
Yeah, that thing's badass.
Yep. And he's out there
Yeah.
just taking on stormtroopers or who I don't know who it was because that was a little bit before then.
Doesn't
clones.
Zeb and Homeboy get in another fight in this episode?
Him and Gron.
No, the fucking
Callus?
No, the guy that runs the weenie that's running
Callus.
the Empire right now. Yeah, Callus.
Yeah, that's later.
Okay.
That's in a couple episodes.
Okay.
So the troopers get Hondo in the end. Like they're able to escape, but they capture Hondo as kind of their way of trying to get to the rebels. But that's when we get into this whole kind of mystical thing. Shava's speaking about the prophecy of the fool, the warrior, and the child, and
Yep.
they'll find their home only if the child saves the warrior and the fool and all that. Yeah, like you mentioned, Zeb talks about the history, but then Zeb and Shava touch tips, bow,
Mhm.
rifle, and staff, and reveal the location of Lyra San, which is in wild space beyond the Outer Rim.
Mm.
Yeah, so they head into this maelstrom, and they're getting chased by the Empire,
Yep.
right? Old Callus is on their 6.
Mm-hmm.
He's back there with his calloused hands, calloused heart, and his wiffle bat helmet, or wiffle ball helmet. And he's back there, firing, fucking sending. He's doing the old Darth Vader move, sending fucking TIE fighters into the asteroid
Right.
belt, right?
Yep.
Chasing the Millennium Falcon. So he does some weird ritual where he's got the bow rifle in it, like electrifies it and starts like
Zeb does.
like taking on the asteroids as they're coming at them, and gives them safe passage, and they end up making it to Lyra San,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you find out, lo and behold, Lyra San was already populated, and the old lady doesn't need to be bred by Zeb and Gron to repopulate.
in a collective, thank God.
So I was like, I really didn't want to have to stick my bow rifle in that.
I want to see that episode.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Well, they call it the Ashla. I can't remember what they call it, but that's their like essentially their word for the Force. She keeps using that word, Ashla. So you're right. It was not the strongest episode. It was good to get some backstory on Zeb for sure. I think that was the whole point, of course. But I was kind of like, okay, moving on to the next one. I didn't have a ton of notes on that episode. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I had a few, but not a lot either. Episode 15, taking us right there, is The Call.
Let's go on another supply run.
Yeah, they're running out of fuel. Lo and behold.
Yeah, and I love how like they're gonna supply run and just get enough fuel cells to fit in the Ghost to fuel the whole fucking all their ships. I'm like when they get back, I'm like, you got like 8 containers. You're gonna get all of them out. Okay.
We get introduced on this episode to the mythical beast called the Purgle.
Yep. Purgle.
I want to hear your best Purgle. 3, 2, 1, go, Jay.
I didn't remember this.
Okay, Matt, Purgle it. Let's hear it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, they're whales.
They're basically
okay. Now I'm on this episode. Yes. This is a fucking cool episode. This is the one where they're like dive bombing down on the asteroid planet or whatever with the fucking foggy
the
lake
refinery.
and
welcome to the show.
Thank you. See?
So
I just needed a little spark.
They're doing a Point Break run on the refinery, but they're all out of gas.
Don't you think when those yellow ties first show up, because they're kind of cool looking, Sabine's like, those are modified TIE fighters. She was just like, oh, those fucking things look great. Like she's always so excited about anything that's doctored up, anything's tricked out.
So at the beginning of the episode, they're running on low on fuel and they're barely like coasting around on. And
Right.
Ezra has the like forethought to commune with the Purgle because they get like attacked by the Purgles. And who is it? Hera hates them or Kanan hates them. They're like, all they do is ruin
Hera.
hyperspace lanes, and they like create like she thinks she sees
She's
them
going
as
off
like
like
as a
stories. Like the stories always say they're
big fat whale in the middle of a hyperspace lane getting eviscerated by a fucking ship
they're
going
basically
Mach 10.
just trying to hump the ship and just keep bumping into it.
They're
Hump whales.
Yeah.
humpbacks. So she hates him, and then Ezra's like, well, why don't you try going with the flow of the Purgle and following him? And the Purgle are heading towards the refinery as well, which is this big cloud of gas.
Yep.
And they seem to be a menace. The fucking chief refinery dude is like, those fucking Purgles are over here stealing all of our fucking gas.
Right.
He's pissed off.
Sidebar. I was like, what the fuck is that thing that's running the refinery? I didn't understand what that thing was. He got like tube eyes and like a fucked up mouth. So I looked him up. His name is Yushin, and he's a Moin, which apparently was a bounty hunter concept art that Ralph McQuarrie did back for Empire.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. But he sucks. He's got a bunch of Rhodians working for him.
Yeah.
So Ezra continually through the episode kind of keeps communing with these Purgle, and he ends up getting like kind of saved by him at some point. So they Point Break down onto the landing platform. The Ghost has just enough like fumes left to just land before they can refuel.
Right.
And they're down there fighting off the Rhodians who have.
It was like a sci-fi episode of, remember the show Gladiators? Where like it was sort of like in the Bad Batch, you got like they're on some little platform and they got to make their way all the way over to, and they're getting shot at. And
and at one point during the scrum, Ezra falls off the edge and lands on a Purgle. The Purgle is like he's suffocating in this cloud of gas, and the Purgle kind of like tentacles him his own helmet, it's his little stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah, so he can breathe again.
Yeah. So
well, and before that, Sabine, of course, being like trigger happy, is like, we got to blow this whole fucking place up, and he's like, no, it's gonna hurt the Purgles. He's like you say, he's very in tune with the Purgles' needs.
Yep.
If there was a PETA in the Star Wars universe, I think Ezra would head it.
I thought about that. I was like, I think it would be real easy for people to get through this episode and be like, okay, I got it. That was like the Saving the Whales episode.
Right.
But these Purgles are important. That's all I'm going to say, Jay.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see
might
some...
see them later.
Yeah, well, I know the story.
Do you know that part?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get to that later, of course. Season 4.
Anyway.
So they're able to... He communes with them one final time, and they kind of offers to help them attack the mining factory together, right? Is that what I remember correctly? They're using the gas to breathe and travel.
Right. They're basically
like,
filling up too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then the Purgle kind of like helps attack the mining factory, and then combined with the efforts from the Ghost, they take it down. They get refueled, and then kind of like a little info for you at the end. The Purgle are able to fucking hyperspace out, like zip out and travel light speed.
And it's basically only at that point where Hera's like, okay, they're all right.
Yeah.
It took her a while to get one.
They're one of mine.
Sure.
She's not very open-minded.
But really, this episode was all set up for the foreshadowing to know that these things can travel through hyperspace, because
Yes.
that's a big payoff later on.
For sure. Yep. So Homecoming, after taking some losses on a cargo transfer, Hera and Kanan tell Sato that they need to find a way to house their fighters somewhere until they can find a base. How have they not found a base yet? I mean, they got the goddamn map from Rex that had every place in the entire Outer Rim, and they still can't find it.
Well,
like
to be
every time
fair,
they show up to one, they're like,
There was only
"Can't do it."
13 episodes ago, so they're still looking.
Okay. But yes, so Sato mentions an Imperial cruiser over Ryloth and that they should try to capture it and use it to house all their fighters. And of course, Hera's like, I know that Ryloth rebel cell because that's
Yep.
my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
Papa Syndulla.
And he's not a very good father.
Yeah, he kind of he turned all his attention once his wife died to the cause. He was way too consumed by that and basically didn't approve of Hera running off and joining the rebellion. Let's just say that.
Right.
Which, by the way, when you get that argument with them later, she goes into the French accent, which we saw in Bad Batch,
Yes.
and I was like, oh, so that makes a lot more sense now with the Bad Batch bit. Like, you know, she kind of reverts back into that tone or that dialect once she starts, you know,
Gets a little
complaining
upset. She can't hold the accent down.
Can't hold the accent down.
Yeah.
Yep. You get introduced to a couple of the Ryloth warriors as well. You get Numa and Gobi, who are
Who we've
the
seen before.
number 2 and number 3, right?
Yeah, we saw them in Clone Wars and Bad Batch, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
introduced was a bad word. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Well, for this show, yes.
Reintroduced.
Yes. There you go.
For Rebels, because apparently I didn't remember that.
And Kanan is so nervous.
Yeah, the whole I'm going to meet the father thing. Uh-huh.
Straighten up.
No, sir, I'm not sleeping with your daughter.
No, really, I'm not. No, really.
Cham has nothing to worry about. Kanan's the perfect guy. Like, I want Kanan to date my daughter because he's such a pussy. He doesn't do anything. Like, yeah, he just, okay, I'll just pretend. He's like,
I'll love you from afar.
what are they? I can't think of the word where you're non-sexual, platonic. They're platonic
Okay.
life mates.
Yep. Well,
That's what I was looking for.
it works for him.
Back to the episode. Cham is kind of a double-crossing piece of shit. So
Yes, he is.
we get that.
Because
Yeah.
they want to take the ship back to their fleet.
He
and
wants,
to blow it up above the
demonstrate,
planet.
Yeah,
So,
he wants a
yeah,
demonstration.
for their cause.
He stuns the entire crew, including his own daughter,
Right.
in order to get a head start and explode the cruiser.
For the record, he just handcuffed his daughter. He stunned everybody else.
Okay. There you go. Thank you.
I don't know if that makes him better.
They like cuffs her to the chair or something, right?
Yeah, he cuffs her
Yeah.
to, yeah, exactly.
She's like, I wish Kanan would do this to me.
And he's over there knocked out because he was taken advantage of because he was too busy worrying about whether dad would like him. So he was like the first one to get hit, wasn't he?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, because, yeah, and then Sabine and Ezra.
Like, tell me about your daughter. Zap!
Well, he's sucking up to him the whole damn
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, I love your stories, Cham.
Yes.
Yeah, I love telling them.
Mr. Syndulla, if you will, please. So we get to see a little cool tactic between Ezra and Kanan at this episode where they force push each other down the hallway. Which,
Yes.
I thought that was pretty cool. They're like leapfrogging each other.
As the
pushing
bay
each
doors
other
are
around.
closing, right? Was
Yeah.
this the one? Yeah.
Mhm.
Shoves them all the way through. And then doesn't he pull them through?
I think so.
Ezra
Yes.
does? Yeah.
Yep.
It's all, all slingshot moves,
Yep.
which we're going to see more of as the season goes on. That
this is
becomes kind
their-
of the go-to.
This is their special tag team move for sure. They've like
That's
leveled up in the video game. This is
WWF.
Yeah, they're the Bash Brothers. So Cham, who's kind of I get the feeling he's a bit of an isolationist. He doesn't want he wants Ryloth to be independent. Doesn't want any sort of
Right.
help. He kind of wants to close the borders off. And
Well, if I
Do our
recall,
own
was
thing.
it Clone Wars when we were introduced, or the Bad Batch when they did the flashback? Which one was it? And they were sort of they were an independent planet, right? They weren't part of either. And this is where when the assassination attempt took over, right?
Right. Yes. When that big dude. Oh my God, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, yeah.
Not Ord Mantell. I
And
can't remember his name
He
now.
ends up shooting
Anyway.
whoever. Yeah.
In the head.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. Right. The Ghost crew goes in and because they wake up finally, so they try to stop. The Ryloth crew from doing what they're going to do, and then it turns into kind of these two different battles. So you've got Numa and Gobi battling with I think it's Zeb and Sabine, and then obviously Kanan and Ezra are off trying to get to the bridge. And once they do, Cham's there, and he's like, "Yeah, by the way, I disabled the hyper drive. Sorry." Oh, but you get the mind trick. You get the Ezra mind trick where he's telling the captain.
Yes.
I like how he goes. He's saying, we need to evacuate the ship. Da, da, da. And he's like, I really mean it. This is your captain.
Yeah, as they're showing like people running, reminding me of Spaceballs. Cancel the 3-ring circus. Do all the people are fucking running around.
Yeah, that was funny.
So the episode kind of wraps up at the end where Hera talks Cham into basically letting him have the cruiser.
Yeah.
And they talk into it. They work together as a team, and they get the cruiser out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that kind of basically wraps that one up.
And they blow up the destroyer that was coming at them, so they both got what they wanted. He got to blow a ship up in front of his people, and they got to keep the cruiser for their fleet.
I feel like Cham should be Sabine's father with all the penchants for fucking explosions. Yeah.
Well, we get
Sabine's
we get a touching moment with Hera and Cham at the end where they kind of make up. So that's all.
Eat too, Papa.
Yeah.
They get together.
Now the honorable ones. So the Ghost crew arrives at Geonosis and discovers a bunch of construction modules that were used to build something huge, but they don't know what.
Yeah.
And there's also
we
no
know
sign
what.
of life on the planet's
I
surface.
know. I kind of
What's
forgot
going
about
on?
that.
Mhm.
Like, because I think Rex at one point says, like, what are you talking about? It's like crawling with bugs down there. What do you mean
Right.
there's no life? They're all dead. But it turns out to be a trap by Callus and the troopers. But good news, Chopper's death streak is back in action because he fucks up that astromech.
Yes.
Yep. He's a sick motherfucker.
Doesn't one of them say go get him or something? He's like, "Rawr!" He fucking like
Oh, yeah.
charges
Flies
it.
out there. Yeah.
I forgot.
He gets on
how-
that one wheel. And just,
Yep.
I love his like one wheel fucking like barely controlled
Chaos.
like kamikaze runs. He
Yes.
just, fucking
yeah, you
goes
got to
nuts.
lean into it. He definitely has to lean into it.
Yeah,
or else
leans
he'd
forward.
Crash. But then they're fighting, and Chopper's able to help them seal off the door so they can escape. But Zeb gets caught. He's battling your boy Callus. This is what you were referring to
Yes.
earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, they land on Geonosis after fighting. They're fighting on the escape pod, and during the somehow they damage it, so they land on Geonosis. But
No, they land on the planet away from Geonosis.
They land on one of the moons.
Yeah.
right, one of the moons.
Yep.
Yeah, and they go over. Like they can't catch them. They can't scan for them because they're under the surface. They like are in a cavern.
Right.
And Callus is injured. His legs.
Yep.
His legs.
This is like a
stoved up.
very like enemy mine episode. I was waiting for the two of them to
Exactly.
sleep together.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought of this whole episode was this is fucking Enemy Mine.
Uh-huh.
That movie is 35 years old.
Oh,
something
at
like that now?
least.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I don't know that.
It's
reference.
It's
Louis Gossett
Lou
Jr. and
Gossett
Dennis Quaid, but Louis Gossett
Dennis
Jr.
Quaid.
is like in like full alien makeup.
From
Yeah.
Louis Gossett Jr. from
Iron
Digstown?
Eagle?
Gentleman,
Bigstown, yeah,
Iron
yeah,
Eagle.
Digstown, yeah. If you've never seen Enemy Mine, oof.
Is that
Watch
gonna
that.
hold up?
There's a man on man alien lovemaking scene.
No, he's asexual.
Right? Doesn't he have the fucking kid or something? Don't they? Have
Oh
a
yeah, he
baby?
has the kid, but he
Yes.
doesn't. Yeah. Oh, I thought
Or is
you
he
meant, like,
already?
he was.
Is he
He's
already?
that
that's right.
shit
that's
just
right.
happened.
I watched it when I was 8.
That's fine.
Hey, you guys
It's
are
kind
really
of-
selling this to me. I want to see Louis Gossett Jr. in bad makeup fucking some younger version
don't
of
see
Dennis
He
that.
Quaid.
doesn't.
I'm
He
just-
does not fuck anybody. He just has a kid.
Yeah.
All of our listeners, we want to hear your thoughts on Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine. That'll
Yeah.
be. Is that
Email
gonna be
the
on the
show.
watch party for you guys in 7 days?
That's what we're gonna do.
I got my weekly watch party pick for Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest. Sorry.
But yeah, so then they're just talking mad shit to each other, Callus and Zeb. Basically, like, your side sucks because of this, and our side's growing every day. Well, yeah, our side's growing every day. So they're kind of going back and forth. But Zeb fixes the transponder and adjusts the settings so anybody can pick it up. But they have to get it, like you said, to the surface because you can't pick it up because they're in that deep crevasse.
And meanwhile, it's getting cold, and they've got their little heater that runs out. But luckily, they find a warm, glowing rock that happens to not be uranium
Right. That's
375.
what I'm like.
So I was like, let me just pick this up. Hopefully, I'm not getting radiation poisoning as I grab this.
2 episodes ago, they're dive bombing into like a gaseous like asteroid planet. Breathe it just fine. This one, he's just picking up fucking piss colored yellow ice.
Yeah, we got.
Just radiates heat and they're
I'm,
fine.
I'm wondering, well, where's OSHA in all this? Like the rebels have no OSHA standards whatsoever.
Nothing. Just
Like,
do what you need to do.
They're just fucking patched together.
Zeb does die of cancer later, just so you know.
Spoiler alert.
And this episode is really like they can't kill each other because they need each other to survive. So they've got to work together to get to the top. And then these fucking little ice creatures come out.
Yeah, they're like dinosaurs or something.
Yeah.
But what's also happening is they're giving each other a little more backstory on each other.
Right.
So they're starting to respect each other a little bit more. And so Callus is, saying how like I didn't steal that Lasat rifle. I actually defeated one and he gave it to me. And they go over the fact that was like kind of a ritualistic thing that they do. And he also shares how he was on a mission to Onderon, and a Lasat that was working for Saw Gerrera, he sat there and watched them just wipe out his entire unit. So that's why Callus hates Lasats.
Right.
And you get to hear what you were referring to earlier. It's a Busan Kira, which when you defeat your enemy, you give away your weapon. So that's where Callus got that bow rifle from.
So then they get to a point where Zeb's like, okay, I'm going to toss my gun up there. I'm going to toss the transponder up there. Now we got to figure out a way to get up there. And Callus is like, hey, idiot, you can't climb the walls. You got to go up the pillars. So he gets piggybacked
Yes.
on the back of Zeb, and they try climbing up there, and it turns into this crazy mess where Zeb eventually tosses him up top and just gets up to the edge, and you think he's going to shoot.
Right.
Callus is going to shoot Zeb, but he shoots the dinosaur and allows him to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Showing a little bit of a code amongst himself as well, a little honor.
Right.
Agent Hard Hands Callus.
Right. And then Zeb has a baby, just like an enemy mine. They get up, they fall asleep next to each other, trying to keep each other warm.
Don't they like wake up and like fucking shove each other when they realize they're cuddling?
It's like the episode of Friends where Ross and Joey are fucking sleeping together.
And then they take a nap together on the couch. Yeah.
But they survive, and then the ghost crew comes in, and you can see that Callus is a little jelly because he sees how they're like, hey, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah.
And they're all friendly and welcome him. Meanwhile, Callus goes back to his cruiser, and just the coldest response ever.
Yes.
Nobody gives two fucks.
Nobody.
He goes back to his his quarters and just sits down and like basically contemplates what the fuck he's doing with his life. I think a lot of growth for Callus.
He's going to turn coat.
Maybe. Shroud of Darkness, episode 18. Kanan and Ezra are fighting the fifth brother and the seventh sister. They're back on a planet called Usalon. I had to look that one up. Because they're still searching for that motherfucking base. Still can't find that base.
Yeah.
I need more base. Like all they got's trouble. Sorry, that was a bad joke.
You get more of the force push tactics in their fights. Ezra stunning one of their robots. They work together, and like Kanan grabs him as he's falling too. There's some good like tactics between Ezra and Kanan. They seem to be like falling.
Oh, this is where they go back into the Jedi Temple on Lothal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's a great like exchange early when they're fighting where Kanan's fighting the seventh sister, and she's like, "Oh, you have a handsome face," and he says, "I don't go for crazy anymore." And I was like, "Oh man, Kanan, you and me both, buddy."
I love it. And in the meantime, Ezra gets to commune with the old Toothless, the dragon, monitoring your dragon beast.
I think these are different. I looked them up. They're called Tibidi, which those other ones were called like Minox or something, or something. Not Minox, something else. They were called something else, I think. But they look almost the same.
Yeah. Very dragon-esque, right? Flying beast.
Never-ending story style jump on the back of those things.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
This where and Kanan is in the Matrix, and he fights the Grand Inquisitor.
Well, before that, the reason they go there is because Kanan's like, we are hurting the rebellion right now. Like they are going after us, and we are causing problems. I think we need to go elsewhere and let them do their own thing.
Right.
And Hera is not happy about that. She's not mad. She's just disappointed.
Right, exactly. She understands. She doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
So they kind of, before they take off, they go to Ahsoka, the only other kind of Jedi, if you want to call her that, for advice. And she's in the fucking, her little quarters watching recordings of Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
right.
the Tom Amansky instructional videos starring Anakin.
Yeah.
And there's still a big shroud of mystery hanging over what happened to him. Like, she doesn't want to, like, talk about it, apparently. But she points him back to Lothal, to the temple. And they end up, Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka end up going to the temple.
To go speak to Yoda again, right?
Yeah, did you hear what she said, though, when she was telling Ezra about the whole, like, oh, Anakin was this person who cared for his friends and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there talking about it, and she says something like, like times like these, Anakin and I would turn to Obi-Wan or Master Yoda, and they always had the answers. Well, almost always. Burn, Yoda, you fucking blind motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
You senile fucking asshole.
How did you not sense that shit, man? Come on.
She's doing the whole Obi-Wan to Luke thing. Like, where, from what I told you is true from a certain point of view.
Right.
Like, you're a real fucking omitting piece of shit, Ahsoka. Like, just tell them. Like, why? I don't understand why they can't just tell the truth. Well, I know why, because you don't want
have to learn it themselves.
Yeah, you got to learn it themselves, and if you tell them what's going to happen, then you're going to like, oh, well, this happened to him. He was one of the greatest Jedi ever.
Right.
It's probably going to happen to me.
Yeah, so they open the temple, and this time they open the basement level of the temple. It just keeps turning. So they're going to a different spot, and they decide to meditate to see if Master Yoda will appear. And they each go to a different place. So as you mentioned, Kanan sees a door that takes him to the Cobra Kai dojo, and he encounters a temple guard. And the guard tells Kanan that Ezra's going to turn to the dark side, so they should kill him.
Right.
And Kanan's like, fuck that. So they start battling. And at one point, he's battling him, and there's a bunch of sabers on the wall, and Kanan pulls out an extra saber, and it's the fucking Sith red saber. I was like, whoa, is that going to mess you up doing that?
Yep.
Something seemed wrong.
Yeah, so the gist was like he's battling those, and then there ends up being like 3 of them. Ends up
two
fighting.
of them join. Yep.
2 extras join, and they're doing like a 3-on-1 to keep him from killing Ezra is what Kanan's doing. And then meanwhile, the Inquisitors, of course, found them. Either they're tracking them or they're using the Force to find them. I'm assuming it's the latter, where they use the Force.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they found him, but evil Paul Revere and Asajj Ventress's sister show up. I'm going to call her Sally Ventress from now on.
Sally and Paul,
Ventress.
the Ventress
Sally
crew.
and Paul.
And then Ezra finds himself in the room, the Star Room, which is the level on Mario Kart, apparently, the Rainbow Road, with Yoda. So he's in there.
OG Frank Oz, by the way.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And then Ahsoka is by herself, and she's communing with the ghost of Anakin.
Oh,
He's calling her selfish, telling her she's abandoned him, she's failed him. That's why he became Vader, blah, 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 blah.
huge guilt trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she's totally demoralized. She realizes he's Vader, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" Like she kind of knew that was true, but that was kind of confirmation for her.
With all that stuff, with all that stuff going on, I can't imagine. Like, why didn't they have Ahsoka in the Clone Wars movie? Like, I feel like that
she was created afterwards. That's why she was created for the cartoon.
You mean Attack of the Clones?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Attack
I know
of
what
the
you meant.
Clones.
Yeah.
Yep, you guys know what I meant.
Yeah.
Well, because there is the Clone Wars movie, which was
Oh, she wasn't
pretty
that.
tough.
Thank you.
Pretty tough. That's where we meet her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
I'm just keeping it all above board.
Keeping
here.
it all above board. trying to go below board with the negotiations.
Well, and I want to mention one thing because I think it was probably Brian Hour. Somebody pointed out when we were talking about the Inquisitorious thing or whatever, the after school club or whatever we talked about that became the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Those people were all I said Padawans, like our network, the Padawan network. Now they were all like Padawans at one point, so they all were kind of going through that Jedi training, and so that's I think why those guys were able to open that temple is because they had that kind of that original tie back to that.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that them walking into the temple was gonna like trigger some old ancient Jedi guards to just manifest and be fucking just 50 of them just pop up. Because it's a Jedi temple and the forces of evil.
Isn't that what happens to them?
It's kind of what happens in the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the temple guards go to attack those two, and kind of fend them off so that those guys can escape. But Kanan, when he's fighting, at some point goes, you know what, you're right. Like I can't save Ezra. I can only do my best by training him. And that's when the Grand Inquisitor has revealed himself from the mask, and he's like, okay, you are now a knight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was his little test.
Mm-hmm.
In the name of God, St. Michael, and St. George, he fucking gives him the fucking...
You may now call me Sir Kanan.
Yeah, he starts demanding people call him that.
Speaks with an English accent.
Does that mean he cuts off his ponytail? He should cut off his ponytail because they always had like little braid they're supposed to cut off. And then But Yoda, when he was talking to Ezra, by the way, said to go to Malachor.
Yes.
He's also dropping some knowledge on Ezra, telling him that it's a lifelong challenge to not bend fear into anger.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's up there just...
Which all ties into what we're going to see the last 2 episodes.
Yep, spitting the knowledge out there.
Absolutely.
And then you know who shows up.
Also, like, is it just me or is old man Dagobah Yoda just fucking uglier in animation form? Like, he just, like, creepy looking.
Doesn't look good.
No. I mean, you can tell he's on his last breath here.
Probably could use a dentist.
Right, yeah. It's like the meth is really good out here.
I already established that the rebellion doesn't have good OSHA standards. They probably don't have a good dental plan either. These guys need to unionize, I'm telling you.
I do like how when they're leaving, the temple is crumbling and they're leaving, and we get that moment where Ahsoka looks back and sees Yoda and he gives her the wave. It was like the Last Crusade. It was like the last scene of the Last Crusade where the knight's telling Indiana Jones, like, we're cool.
Bye-bye.
But then Ahsoka says, Malachor is not a place. Or sorry, it's a place, not a person.
Right.
So they're going to be going somewhere. And meanwhile, Vader rolls in with his crew. And A lot of voice cast action in this episode. You had Frank Oz, James Earl Jones, Jason Isaacs, of course, as the Grand Inquisitor,
Right.
and Matt Lanter as Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they brought them all back for this one.
Pretty cool episode.
You can tell it's picking up too. These last few are like finally we're leading to something. So I'm getting excited for this.
You're excited for the Forgotten Droid.
Which one is this one?
This is the one I struggle with also. So the rebels have found finally a suitable location for their base, the Yost system. And then here comes Ketsu, by the way. Ketsu's in play here, so
Yeah,
she did
she
come
just
back.
She just
her
like
band
shows
member.
up out of nowhere.
Slides in with her
Yeah.
fucking cool ass
Yeah.
Shadowcaster.
Shadowcaster.
Couple fucking laser shots and then she's gone.
So they're going on another fuel run. They're on the Yost system, and Chopper is got the whole dilemma in front of him whether or not he goes after the new leg that's
Yes.
sitting there.
Oh, this is the whole droid episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. There's always got to be one somewhere.
Uh-huh.
So he goes over there and he's negotiating with the vendor, and the vendor like dismisses him. He steals the leg because Chopper gives zero fucks,
Yep.
He's
and
left.
he misses his ride off planet.
Mhm.
So he ends up getting on the C-Van ship apparently that's got like 5,000 C-Vans, and it's gonna go transport them off. And you get introduced. It's like a cargo transport.
See, this episode didn't bother me that much because Chopper's got so much personality.
Yeah.
Like he is fun to watch.
I liked this droid episode. This is
Yeah.
out of all the droid episodes,
Yes.
this is my favorite
Mhm.
because you get introduced to AP5, who's like a fucking hall monitor.
Is it who does the voice of this? Because I swear to God, it's
It's Steven Stanton, the guy who does Tarkin, and the guy who also
Okay.
did Admiral Raddus.
sounds like fucking Alan Rickman.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to poo-poo too much in the episode because I agree with what you're saying. Some of the stuff was funny. It's Chopper, so it's always good with Chopper. But there was definitely like the R2 3PO element with those two.
Yes.
And their dialogue. However, AP is much less annoying than C3PO, so I enjoyed it much more for that reason. But this poor guy is just totally disrespected. He's like, I was a fucking navigator
Yeah.
in the Clone Wars, and now I'm doing goddamn inventory. He's so pissed off. But once he realizes Chopper was also in the Clone Wars, they kind of start swapping war stories,
Yes.
and they start becoming buddies. But Chopper takes off his restraining bolt, and then AP5 is discovered and reprimanded by Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, and he's like, "Where do you think you're going without your restraining bolt?" And Chopper knocks that motherfucker out.
He
Just
does.
hitting him with that leg the whole time. And then he puts together a haphazard plan to trap them in the fucking cargo bay, and he's just gonna jettison 15 human beings out into space.
Yes.
'Cause
Yep.
because
He doesn't
Chopper
care.
doesn't
Doesn't
fucking
care.
He leads them all
Death
in. He's
count.
like, I got a fucking little jet lag. I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, he's like, I don't just kill droids, I kill people.
Any of you motherfuckers can catch this heat.
There's got to be like horror stories about this fucking droid in the galaxy. Like, look out for this guy.
Well, he befriends AP5 and he calls him a friend. So, like,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
he's not a psychopath after all.
Just
What
a
do I have?
murderer.
Oh, so at one point in the episode, Hera uses Chopper's full code, which is C110P.
Which says Chopper.
Yeah.
Like if it's spelled out.
Yeah, it's funny. I like that. So she's like uses his using
Full
his
name.
full middle name.
Yeah, she
right?
yells
Yeah.
at him.
Cole
Right.
Samuel, but
Yeah.
yelling at you. It's like your mom. I don't remember what she's yelling at him about. I can't remember.
He's trying to tell, I can't remember. He's trying to communicate something to her, and she's just like, she's in the middle of fighting, so she's
Yes.
like, whatever, like get your shit together. Oh no, she's mad because he went after the leg when she told him not to. That's what
Yes.
she's mad about.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then AP5 is transmitting their coordinates out, and he gets killed by
Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell.
But he reveals that Yost system is a trap. That's why he gives
Yes.
him the new coordinates to a
Right.
different place.
That's what it was doing. Yep. Because the Empire was waiting on the Yost system. They're always a step ahead of these
They're
fucking
just
rebels.
you're waiting for them rebels.
Yeah.
The early
Yep.
rebels were real struggled a lot against this Empire.
Yeah.
So then, as AP5 gets killed, transmitting the coordinates, end of the episode, it comes all full circle happy. Sabine brings AP5 back. It costs Chopper like his leg in order for him to do it.
Right.
Cost him his new leg, and ends with them like going off, having a little conversation back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I just like the dynamic between those two
Yeah.
because I like Chopper.
AP5 was fun. He was fun just because of his tone and the way I don't know. There's something about the way he spoke that I did enjoy. So you're right. I think it was probably the best or one of the best droid episodes because we've had some bad ones.
Had
over
some
the years,
stinkers.
especially in the Clone Wars.
Yes.
So
Like, well, let's fucking spend a whole episode watching R2D2 and C3PO go get a spa.
that was a weird episode. We
man.
needed toppings for this cake or whatever the fuck
Yes.
it was. Oh my
Hey, go
God.
get 3 fruit things or whatever it was.
Yeah, turns into a whole thing. So then we go. The rebels are setting up their base finally on Atolan, which is the name of the planet. When a pilot goes missing, setting up sensor beacons because she's attacked by Krykna spiders. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Those things are vicious, man.
And this episode opens up with Kanan and Ezra getting super serious about their training. Like they're both trying to improve, and they're basically training to face the Inquisitors at this point because they're tired of getting their asses kicked by Paul and Sally Revere.
Paul Revere and Sally Ventress.
So stupid. Every time I see that fucking hat, I keep thinking of Master and Commander. Swash the decks. Swab the decks.
Yeah, so then Hera's laying more guilt trip on Kanan, and he's kind of not really figuring it out.
He's fucking clueless.
He's so clueless. Like, is this the episode where? Yeah, this is the episode where Sabine later is like, "Dumb fuck, you might want to go. Like, you might want to read the room and go talk to Hera because she's kind of pissed off that you're leaving." And he's like, then when he goes to talk to Hera, he's like, "Hey, babe, don't fret. We'll see each other again."
Let me give you this
that's
friendship
when they hug.
hug.
That's when they hug. Yeah, they hug. They finally hug.
Ass out hugs.
I'm like, fucking get in there, buddy.
Yeah, he needs to work harder. That's third base for them, that hug.
Yeah.
That's pretty close to a home run.
So this episode was kind of, I don't even know what the point of it was really, other than the fact that they're setting the tone for the final two episodes. The spider problem, Rex gets taken hostage. They end up going chasing Rex down. Ezra's trying to commune with the spiders. It's one of the animals that he apparently cannot commune with. They find
They're impossible
Rex.
to kill even with fucking blasters on the ship.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the rebels would be way more accurate. Like, shoot the eyes. They were shooting the eyes and they kept missing. Like, eventually just it's like fucking shoot a zombie in the head. You shoot the zombie in the head. Like, come on, you guys. You guys really need to work some fucking, like, art marksmanship.
They became stormtroopers in this episode.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And then all the Spideys, like, glue down the ghost. Like, they net down the ghost, or
so it can't take off.
Web down the ghost.
Yeah.
They can't get out. So they end up getting, like,
and it's all about the
force
damn
push Sabine out.
transponders or the receivers that give off a signal. They don't like them, so that's why their base was never attacked because they'd already put those up.
Right, but they force push Sabine and almost kill her.
Right,
and they're both like, "Oh no!" And then when they come back, she comes back. They're like, "Oh, phew."
Yeah, like we're not gonna go chase after her. We're stuck here.
So I almost pushed you off the edge of that cliff, but you're good. Maybe you should get yourself a fucking jetpack. Doesn't she mention that? I wish I had my
says that.
This is when I wish.
I had a jetpack. Yeah,
that's right.
I like that.
So they cut the ship loose. The ship goes off. Hera and fucking Kanan have their little powwow, and that's it. Yeah.
Right.
Then Ezra sees Mirai. I think that's how you say his name, the owl, and that's a sign that Ahsoka is near.
Right.
So she comes up to him and talks to him, and she's like, "Okay, we need to go to Malachor and look for these Inquisitors," which sets up I think one of the best, if not the best, season finale arcs in Star Wars. This 2-part episode is so fucking good and chock full of awesome shit. I love it.
It's fucking really good. Let's get into it.
Yeah, they're heading to Malachor. Ahsoka, Ezra, and Kanan. Apparently, according to the legends, I think Ahsoka says this at one point. Malachor has always been off limit to the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Sith world that's off limits to the Jedi.
There's always some truth in legends. And I'm like, is that a line about like the Legends books?
I thought that too.
Yeah.
When she said that stood out, yeah.
So they end up, I think he just ends up touching a random ruin that they find, and they fall underground and discover they're in the bottom of like a Sith temple.
Which there's some backstory to this. Like I want to see more to this story. Like it was like Pompeii. Like everyone's frozen or, blasted in their spot, ash. They're just like Jedis everywhere. They find lightsabers, which is just like Kylo Ren's, but green.
Yep. And they turn it on and the kyber crystal like immediately dissolves.
Right.
And it gets like one last flash comes out of it. I thought that was kind of cool.
I love the art of it too. Like the fact it looks like they're like in this galaxy because the breakaway spots look like little stars above them, like everything was great, like this dark ruined temple, and then they get separated because the two, what is it, Paul Revere and Sally.
No, this is a different one. Different one. This is the 8th brother,
and it's a faceless one.
Yeah, so the 8th brother comes in and attacks him, and that's what, Ezra gets blown up and dropped to this, like, sub-level.
Yep.
And he's like, you guys go on, and they go after the Inquisitor, and Ezra's like, okay, I'm just going to go on, and I was like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and then here comes the old man.
Right.
And I think one of the first things the old man says to Ezra is he was looking for forbidden knowledge, and in order to defeat the Sith, you must understand them. You get a lot of Palpatine from Episode 3.
Yes.
Vibe where he's like not the narrow dogmatic view of the Jedi. You gotta like open your mind to both sides of the.
How long until you realized who it was?
I knew like after as soon as like I kind of got a little glimpse of his face.
Okay.
So a couple minutes.
Oh, I
in.
thought I was hoping you were going to say when he said Maul.
Oh shit!
I still don't know who it is. Was it Savage?
They didn't conceal it all that much. I mean,
No.
I thought they concealed it more going into this episode. I thought they kind of kept it a little more secret because he's talking in a slightly different voice. But you can see right away the markings and stuff. You know it's Maul.
Right. And he even says something about his brother being taken from him and all this stuff. And you're like,
Brother
oh,
being murdered,
Yeah.
by the Sith. So he's
Yep.
like he wants revenge. So yeah, he basically offers to he wants revenge for Savage. He offers to share the knowledge of the temple with Ezra, who's kind of warming up to him because he's like, I can see what you're going through. Like, I lost my parents, I lost
Yeah.
some people, I get it. And obviously Ezra, there's some concerns about him and his touch with the dark side. So, but the old man's encouraging him, like you said, like if you want to strengthen your abilities, you can't limit yourself by just being on the light side. Like you got to go and open the shit up at the temple, and we need to do some stuff.
Expand your mind, man.
Well, of course, he first says he's Jabba. God damn it! But he later says, by the way, my real name's Ezra, and that's when he's like, oh yeah, my name's Maul.
I know.
So we get the
I have to say it's so evil.
yeah,
the way he
right,
says it.
exactly. So then Chopper finds the Eighth Brother's shuttle and pretty easily defeats him.
Yeah.
So good job, Chopper. And Kanan and Ahsoka capture him, and they interrogate him, and he reveals that he's hunting a shadow, which of course is Maul. And then he triggers some sort of alert for Paul and Sally to come in and fight Kanan and Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Ezra's falling for the whole use your passions and it'll give you strength thing. They're opening
Yeah.
the doors together, and I'm like, what more do you need to hear? Like, as soon as someone says that, you know that immediately the guy's on the fucking dark side.
Right.
Like, stop being so fucking gullible.
Mm-hmm.
He's young and impressionable.
The rule of two.
And he goes deeper and deeper into the temple with Maul. They keep, like, doubling up on the doors, and one has to hold it while the other one secures the next
chasing
one.
knowledge.
Yep.
Mhm.
They go deeper and deeper into the temple and do the old force push to get the Sith holocron.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They throw each other onto the platform, and the platform like starts to rise with Ezra on it at the end. And as he jumps, Maul like grabs him, pulls him in.
You think he's going to take the holocron and just drop him, but he saves him.
Yep.
Because and then shortly after we learn that he's now going to make him his apprentice.
Right, exactly. But then they use that holocron to open the door, and that's when they open the door on that fight that's happening. And I love how Maul, first of all, Ahsoka's like, Maul? Like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And then he looks out and goes, what fun.
Yep.
And the other
You
two Inquisitors had just shown up, and now it's 2-on-3.
Yeah. Exactly.
And boy, does he show he can whoop some ass.
Oh, yeah. He's a tough guy to handle.
Yeah. Goes right after him. I was like, I'll show you whose side I'm on. Just jumps in there.
Tips the scales in the favor of the good guys there
Mm-hmm.
right away because they have a common enemy.
What a great shot, though, is that last bay door opens him coming out of the temple, and
Yeah.
he just sees, like, Jedi and the Inquisitors fighting. You know, you just see fucking the glowing lights of all their sabers. That was pretty badass.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He ends up kind of like making a reference that he's no longer Darth Maul. He's just Maul.
Right.
And that's
Right.
when he starts to fight the Inquisitors.
Yeah, and then they realize once the Inquisitors realize, oh, they've got the holocron. They do their little saber chopper thing and
Yep.
their copter thing and like get out of there and retreat. But I love how he says they're gonna go tell Vader and he's gonna come here and they're gonna tell him to come to Malachor to find 2 Jedi and a part timer.
Yes.
And Ahsoka looks down like, you asshole.
Way to just blow me out, bro.
But yeah, Maul's like, we need to go to the chamber at the top of the temple, use the obelisk to reveal the secrets of the holocron. So he hits the up button on the Sith fucking lift. And I like how he gets on with Ezra and he goes, only 2, no more, no less,
Yeah.
on the lift. And Kanan's like, okay, then we're going.
So Maul kind of uses the bait that Darth Vader's coming, and them all together can defeat Vader, right? So he's kind of like tempting the Jedi and
Yeah.
Ahsoka and all them to stay.
Yep.
And he's very honest about it. He's like, I need you here. I can't beat him on my own.
Right. Yeah.
And
he
I'm thinking,
understands.
oh, am I going to see fucking Darth Maul and Vader fight?
Yes, exactly. That was the thought that crossed my mind.
Now, why does he have 2 feet?
Well, so I don't know if we get the story. Don't we? Yeah, we see that in the Clone Wars, right?
He
When
has
gets the
robot
legs.
feet.
Oh, does he have robot feet? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Do they look like real feet in this?
They just look like regular legs. Yeah.
Maybe he was just wearing pants.
Well, he had pants on, yeah. But it just didn't look like big, thick robot legs or anything. So maybe it's just got, an upgrade. slimmer
could
but
be.
stronger.
You're right. They definitely look more human
Mm-hmm.
for sure, or whatever he is. But then the eighth brother attacks and nearly kills Ezra, but Maul saves him. And then this time they're like, we need to split up. So
Yep.
Maul goes with Ezra up one side. Ahsoka and Kanan have to go around and take the other lift on the other side. And Maul just continues to peddle this whole like dark side power, light
Yeah.
side holding you back, blah, 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 blah. And that's when the seventh sister attacks them. And Maul is like being Ezra's hype man. Like, you got her.
Yeah.
And then finally he like gives her the force choke lift.
Right.
And he basically is like giving Ezra the do it. And Ezra is like, I can't do it. And then he fucking like decapitates her. I don't know. You don't really see it.
Flow through you.
It looks like he cuts her head off or something. Don't you think? Like it's going right at her dome.
He definitely, whatever he does, she just drops to her knees. You see the saber drop, and all you
Yeah.
see is dead legs and a broken saber. So you know she's dead.
Right.
So no more Sally.
And then
Right.
at some point, one of the other Inquisitors tries to like helicopter away, but his malfunctioning saber like drops
Yeah.
him, and he Wilhelm screams himself down. Ah!
Was that the eighth one? 'Cause,
That's the eighth brother.
The fifth brother was he
Maul
was
kills
killed. Yeah. So they're all dead. Like as far as we know, no more Inquisitors as of right now.
Right. And that's where everything turns.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Kanan says, "Where's Ezra?" And he goes, "You mean my apprentice?" And the
Yes.
next thing you know, he fucking slices his eyes off.
To the eyes,
Fuck,
McMahon.
man. Yeah.
Did you like how it like did the red screen? Like
Yes.
essentially Kanan was seeing red, the red of his
Mhm.
Sith saber. So
Mhm.
yeah, he blinds Kanan and Kanan's down.
Yep.
So that's not good.
I would agree with that.
Well, and that's when he kind of reveals he's like Ezra's going up to activate the temple, which is actually a battle station because I'm getting revenge on all these motherfuckers who wronged me.
Yeah.
So he's
all my
revealing his whole
enemies.
plan.
Yeah.
Yep. So Ezra activates the holocron. Kanan, in the meantime, finds a temple guard mask, and
Comes the man in the iron mask.
yep. And as he's blind, he communes with the Force, and he ends up fucking throwing Maul off the edge of the fucking cliff.
Right.
Yeah, it was like Chirrut or whatever his name is in Rogue One. He was using all his other senses.
Right.
He was,
yeah,
like, listening
you
to
could
him
hear,
step
you could
forward
hear
and
the
stuff.
feet. Yeah. Yep. Everything.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass.
And then
Yeah.
cue old Darth Vader like fucking, like not even low key flexing, just fucking ghost riding the whip.
Fuck,
fucking
man.
rolls
That
in,
was awesome.
rolls in fucking with the
Fucking
cape blowing
just
in the
slow
wind.
motion too.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
That was so fucking badass.
He's like
Yeah,
striding his TIE fighter.
the last 10 minutes of this episode are just nonstop awesomeness. Because he starts fighting Ezra, destroys his saber. Here comes Ahsoka. And that's when you get all this, like, you get some pretty sweet dialogue because he's like, Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him. And then she's like, well, then I will avenge his death, which I thought was sweet. You also
Right.
get the I'm no Jedi line from
Yeah,
her.
Yep.
I'm no Jedi, she says.
Kanan shows up to help Ezra get the holocron while Ahsoka battles Vader. And they retrieve it together, which causes the temple to start to collapse. And then Vader's trying to like force pull the holocron
Yeah.
out of Ezra's hand, but Ahsoka runs in and just fucking smashes him in the face with the saber. Oh,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
you
was
get
awesome.
cool shot where you kind of see like he's all fucked up underneath the helmet.
Broken helmet. Old
Yeah.
man Anakin. Dead man Anakin inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
and he says Ahsoka, she says Anakin, and that's when she says, I won't leave you, not this time. And then he says, then you will die.
She still thinks that there's like fucking. Everyone still thinks there's hope for Vader.
Well-
They are clinging on to a memory of Anakin that, yeah, I don't know. They just feel like they can't totally give up on him, I guess.
Right. It's a Jedi way. Right.
Yeah, it's true.
So the thing collapses on them as she force pushes Ezra out of the way to get on the ship, and you think they're dead, but we see Vader kind of walk out later on, and then we see the little hoot owl go flying through, and you sort of see like a silhouette of Ahsoka going
Right.
into the cave.
Yes, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that the first time and being like, "Holy shit!" Like it was a pretty cool moment because you're to assume she died, but then that Mirai owl flies. You see that little image of her. The music really kicks in.
Yep.
They go back to their base and Kanan and Ezra come off and that's when obviously Hera goes up and hugs him. Another hug. Got
Yeah.
Another hug out of it.
Yeah.
And Rex realizes that Ahsoka's gone. He kind of has this exchange with Ezra, this look of like, "Sorry, bro, she didn't make it."
Yeah.
So
Yep. And then the episode ends with like Maul flies off, Vader walks out of the temple, and then Ezra, sitting in his room, opens the fucking holocron.
Right.
yeah. Uh-oh.
Yep.
And
Is he-
Kanan senses it.
Is he turning to the dark side? What is he
Right.
doing in there?
Yeah,
Fucking-
because he's like staring at the hallway. Well, not staring anymore, and he just turns like, "What do I sense?" So yeah, now
Yep.
what's
Pretty
going to
sweet.
happen?
You better not be playing in that toilet. Fucking screams up. Hey, y'all better not be playing in that toilet. Sorry.
But yeah, I love the way this season ends. There's a lot of great episodes in it. I kind of forget. I remember a lot of the stuff from season 4. I'm trying to remember all the stuff that happens in season 3. There's certainly a couple episodes I remember very well. They're coming toward the very end of the season.
Season 3 is when they introduce Thrawn, right?
Yes, you're correct. So it's chock full of good shit. I put a note in here in our notes just to say speculation from you on season 3 because I couldn't remember how much you had seen.
I've never
seen.
seen.
Like you haven't seen them, but you just know what happens, kind of roughly.
Yeah, I know like story beats, and I've seen some clips, but I'm in the dark with all of this. Like where this happened right now, I have no idea. Other than the fact that I know Thrawn is coming, but this is another thing. Like at the beginning, we were talking about the way the Mandalorian ends. This ends in a spot where like I have no idea where they're going to go with this.
Right. Yeah. And I think there is a time jump in between 2 and 3. I think there's maybe like a 6-month time jump or something, because I believe, I'm not 100% sure, and I'll find out soon. I believe when you pick up season 3, like Ezra's hair is cut,
right,
he's a little taller.
One of the first animations where they actually, the characters change.
The character.
They grow. Yeah, they're getting older.
Yeah, a lot of haircuts happen season 2 to season 3 in that 6-month that stint. So I'm excited for season 3. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I'm committing to this. I'm not going to wait to start watching season 3. I'm going to go ahead and start right away.
Okay.
Because I think we're recording next week our full season 3 review. So I'm going to jump on that quickly so I don't put myself in the same position.
Get on it. Is it a long season or is this a shortened one?
No, it's long.
Okay.
It's 22. 22. Right. The last season, last season I think is 15 or 16, but this one is 22. So it's a full season.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for this.
We'll do season 3. Season 3 stuff will release the week after. We'll do the Podtoberfest episode, and then the season 3 stuff will come after that. But we're going to record it next week.
Well prepared.
Yes. So, should we go to the Maul Bag?
I want to hear this. Yeah.
Hello there.
You've got mail.
So, as I referenced earlier, we got a lovely voicemail from the one, the only Rural Farm Boy. And I have it queued up here. Oh, I just closed it like an idiot, but I'm going to open it again. We decided just for fun, we'll do a little okay stop with this as well, because it's always fun to kind of stop and go through what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I do FACPA, boys. Jay, Cole, Maddie, it's RFB. Just home from my Tuesday work day.
Hang on.
Where episode 40 of FACPA.
Did he just call himself RFB?
He did call himself RFB.
He did.
Okay. I love it.
Boys with my passengers on my hyperspace jump home. Posted in Twitterverse and said so. And no, Jay, my playlist ain't got no fucking pause button.
Oh, some heat right off the bat for Jay.
I forget what that's about. What did I say?
Clapping back at you.
Yeah, he is.
You said something about, it was in reference, I think, to all the episodes he watches and all this stuff, and you were saying something about a pause, but I can't remember what.
Okay.
Yeah, he's making a reference to that.
It goes start to finish, show to show, back to back, post them as I'm listening. Clean to the end of the day, and then carries on, starts all over again next day. Through the entire week, Monday to Sunday. But anyhow, I believe question on the floor was, on the show, was Emperor Palpatine seen in A New Hope or brought up in A New Hope? Because, well, damn it, if I ain't got the answer for it, now you got to go watch the whole fucking trilogy again.
He is salty.
Has he started kicking back the whiskey?
I think he's been drinking a little bit.
I was going to say, because that was not, the word trilogy was not said right.
Not that we can talk about pronunciation.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're one to fucking
Quiet.
critique someone's enunciation.
But no, he was only mentioned. That was Admiral Mahdi when he was trying to make his plea to Tarkin to not flee from the Death Star, and he could use it to take over the Empire. That's the only time the Emperor was mentioned, but he was also brought up in the original novelization in the foreword, where he was outright named. And I believe folks call that being ghostwritten by Alan Dean Foster, because Mr. Lucas's name was on the cover of the novel.
You know we don't read too good, right?
Oh, wow.
Farm Boy?
What if
we're doing our best? I thought you might know that, Jay. Did you know about that, the novel for...
No.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. At least I don't remember him being mentioned.
Gotcha.
What if RFB ends up on Jeopardy one day and the first category is Star Wars deep cuts? He's like, yes.
Daily Devil, please.
Please, Daily Devil.
All of it.
But like he fucking fails on the rest of the categories. I should have listened to other podcasts.
Next category is new technological radios. Shit.
That's where he was first named. But no, Jay's right. It was brought up between Vader and Palpatine and Empire, between the holo transmission, and it had nothing to do whether or not Luke was dead. It's the Emperor said straight up, pretty much word for word, that Son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi, and Vader said he will join us, our Die Master. And that was it.
See, 60%.
Yeah.
You fucking nailed it. He's giving you credit for it. I
Thank
like
you.
That. Appreciate that.
RFB.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
Jay for his knowledge.
So there you go, boys. Lending a helping hand. So I'm looking forward to episode 41 next week. In my playlist, we'll see if you're my passengers. Hell, we'll see if you're sitting with me for breakfast.
Did we lose our spot in his playlist there? I didn't understand what he was talking about there. It's like, we'll see if you're in my playlist.
I think he's referencing maybe we'll be released on time. Maybe
Oh, okay. That's my fault. See, that's a little subtle dig, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think he's got beef with you.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So until then, boys, hope many more emails fill your Maul Bag. And until then, I will see you on the radio for episode 41. May the Force be with all of yous.
May the Force be with all yums.
All the yums. I love Real Farm Boy. RFB is
What a character.
one of our favorite listeners.
Yes, he's great. Love it. Thank you for sending us a voicemail. Anybody wants to send a voicemail, please do. Again, it's FACPApod@gmail.com. Or you can send us an email, either one. But the voicemails are always fun because we like to kind of break them down.
And we're happy to be on your playlist anywhere. Breakfast, during your commute, we'll be a passenger, whatever. We're happy.
Supper's fine.
Just stop taking us to bed with you.
While you're plowing the back 40 with your mule.
Yeah.
All right, time for the FACPAtoid.
All right.
Yes. FACPAtoid for the week. Long before Yoda was created with animatronics and puppetry by master puppeteer Frank Oz, shout out to him this season, correct?
Yep.
The plan was to hire an actual actor, a simian actor, that is. According to the making of Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, they plan to dress up a real monkey in a Yoda costume and mask. There are photos
Really?
of the monkey
Yeah.
in training and the weirdly hideous Yoda mask prototype.
Oh my God, I had no idea that was a thing.
And then apparently a little tidbit after reading up on this. Someone from in the production studio had worked on the Planet of the Apes, and he said that monkeys were notoriously difficult to work with. So they they trashed this fucking whole Yoda monkey hybrid. There you go.
Well, okay. You learn something new every time on this
The
show.
crazy shit they do in pre-production.
As they canceled it, they yelled out, "Those damn dirty apes!"
It must be hilarious when it comes to movies like that, where they're just throwing out all sorts of crazy ideas, and half of them people are like, "That's never going to work," and then shit, sometimes it
Make
does.
this happen. Well, let's get a monkey. I do know the story of a monkey. I didn't know that they were like going to put it in a costume with a fucking mask and shit and try and get it to. That's pretty crazy. It's just like nothing but like quick cuts because after 10 seconds he's trying to throw his shit at someone.
Flinging his shit. Yeah. Oh, good shit.
There's your FACPAtoid this week. We'll have another one for you next week. Rural Farm Boy. RFB for short.
Yep.
So I have to say thank you for listening. And until next time,
Never tell us the odds.
In our experience, there's no such thing as luck.
we have some again.